What is up, everyone? It is another episode of Intentional Grounding. I'm back. I'm back in the fold. It's been a minute. It's really been a minute. It's me, Solo Dolo. Y'all already know what to do. Y'all already know. So come on in, take a seat, hang out with me. Man, I got so much to talk about tonight. You know, it's my favorite part of the season where we talk about the NFL draft and we talk about Bills offseason moves. We got the Bills release stadium renderings. We're going to take a look at those. We're going to talk about old Von's recruiting efforts lately with Derrick Henry. See what's cracking over there. But nonetheless, you are listening and watching the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to Buffalo Rumblings. You know, I'm going to be here all off season long, giving you the latest and the greatest. You already know what to do. Also, I do have an Instagram page as well that I just started up, you know, at Furrowh Sterling. So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Furrowh Sterling. I'll leave that in the description of this video, so you can make sure you give me a little follow. You already know what's up. Let's see who we got up in here today. You know, little shout outs. Get some shout outs in here. Let's people start popping in here. All right. All right. So before we jump into all the things Buffalo Bills related, NFL draft related, I want to make sure that you guys know that this show is brought to you by Slide a Shelf. All right. Bills fans, are your cabinets in need of a timeout? Say goodbye to fixed dimension options, wasted space, and long wait. Slide a Shelf offers high quality, customized, perfect fitting slide out shelves and cabinet organizers to make it easy to reach and organize the items you use most in your everyday life. Check them out at slideashelf.com. Use the promo code Intentional Grounding to get 10% off 2 or more standard slide out shelves plus free shipping. Visit their website at www.slideashelf.com and let them help you reach what matters. Yes, indeed. This show is brought to you by Slide a Shelf. So, again, if you're doing a home improvement project and you need some shelves, you know, make sure you check out my guys at Slide a Shelf, man. They'll get you right. As we pop up in here, as we do our thing today, you know, I don't know how you guys feel about the Bill Stadium, but you know, there's been a lot of talks about should it be a dome, should it be open, because part of the Bills' home field advantage is, you know, the wind and the snow and stuff like that. But the Bills don't seem to play well in those conditions. Let's be honest. You know, in the last few seasons, you know, it's like they struggled in inclement weather. But, you know, so BuffaloBills.com released their stadium renderings. I'm going to show you guys what some of them look like here. This is the first look here. So if you're listening on podcast, you know, obviously you can't see these, but you can go to BuffaloBills.com and you could check these out. But these are the Buffalo Bills stadium renderings. I think that looks pretty good. I am curious to see how they handle the tailgating, because that's the main attraction when you go to a Bills game. If you've never been to a Bills football game and hung out with Bills Mafia, it is a party that starts early in the morning, and I guarantee you'll probably be drunk by the time the game starts. Here's another view here. I do like the big windows here and that giant Buffalo Bill on the side. Now, these are subject to change, but I think this is pretty much what they're going with here. It looks pretty good, if you ask me. Here's a third one. This is I don't know. It looked like they put some Madden players in here, but put the stadium around, and it looks pretty good. You got the overhang there. I'm not sure how that's, you know, I think that's going to pretty much help people who are in the upper deck. You know, I hope they insulate it well. I hope it's heated pretty well. We'll see what happens. But and then there's one more. I'm only going to show you 4 here, but there's a couple more in their little slideshow. But yeah, man, this looks pretty good. So the Bills would be doing the damn thing here in the next few years. We got we got my guy Todd. Oh, Toddy. What's up, Todd? How you doing, bro? Anyway, so I'm excited about the stadium. I can't wait to get out there and check it out. I know, the home opener, which is always crazy. I know that's going to be an event that's going to be wild. So if you have, again, you can go check those out at buffalobills.com. But, it's time for me to, you guys haven't heard me talk about this on this show because, we are just now picking up from the playoff season, but I've been on other shows, other podcasts, and I want to come in here and share with you all what my thoughts were on the Bills losing to the Bengals. I can't lie and say that I was happy about it. Definitely wasn't happy about it. It kind of, it pissed me off. I'm sure it pissed a lot of you off. I'm almost certain of that because we talk about it, but it pissed a lot of us off. And I just want to kind of vent here on our Buffalo Bills. Now, I understand that this isn't a poverty-stricken franchise. I also know that this isn't a losing franchise, as the Bills have been one of the best teams in the league the past few seasons. This team was 13-3 last season. So, in actuality, it's okay to criticize the team, but be realistic too, right? And so tonight I want to definitely kind of be realistic, but I put a tweet out and I was in my feelings, not gonna lie. And I said that I'd be okay if the Bills fired Leslie Frazier and our offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. That I was okay with that. And if you were to ask me how I felt about that today, I've kind of calmed down on the fire Ken Dorsey train. Now, if you ask me about Leslie Frazier, I would still can him, to be honest. But as you know, the Bills, they definitely, when it comes to coaching, they don't make major decisions. All right. I think Leslie Frazier will be a definite fixture for this Bills defense for the foreseeable future. If they were going to fire him, they would have done it already. So obviously, Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane and Terry Pagula are okay with the performance that the defense has had, right? And just so y'all know, for those of you who know me, y'all already know that when I go live solo, I always drink a bottle of wine. And it's 19 Crimes. And this show isn't sponsored by 19 Crimes. But no, I'm not an alcoholic, all right? Some of you are going to be like, is he an alcoholic? No, I'm not an alcoholic, but I do enjoy some wine and I drink it out the bottle. It's ratchet. It is so ratchet, but I love it. So Leslie Frazier, let's talk about it. The Bills gave up 27 points in this last playoff game to the Bengals. You could tell that from the jump that the defensive game plan was lacking. These guys, it wasn't good enough. Joe Burrow, easy access throws all day long. The Bills couldn't cover him. The Bills couldn't cover anybody. So Joe Burrow just sitting back there, just carving him up. Death by 1,000 cuts, death by 1,000 5-yard catches or a short intermediate passing game. It was brutal. You go back and watch the all 22. You saw guys 7-10 yards playing off. Like, first of all, you're in the snow. So I don't understand. Like, are you expecting them to go over top on you in that weather with that footing? I don't think so. Why couldn't you play more aggressive? Why couldn't you play more aggressive? It just seems that in these close games that where there is a quarterback who is above average, okay? Quarterbacks who are above average, or you know what? Better than above average. I would say, the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, it's like the Bills just, their game plan sucks on defense. It's not aggressive enough. Listen, man, You drafted Kyrie Elam. You barely played him this year. And I know, we talk about, the injuries and all that, but there's no excuse, man. There is no excuse on the opening drive. I mean, who the tight end caught the first touchdown, or was that Jamar Chase? I think Jamar Chase caught the first touchdown, and it was without effort. I mean, it's brutal. The Bills' defensive line continues to be an issue. They can't get pressure on the quarterback. Let's not forget that the Bengals had three guys from their starting offensive line out of the game. Bills couldn't generate any pressure up front. None. That's a problem. That is a problem. All right. I don't know what to tell y'all. Kind of sucks. You got, we put so much emphasis and we give Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano a lot of credit, and rightfully so. I mean, those guys, they played their butts off this year, but collectively as a whole, I think when it matters most, I mean, we're out there missing tackles. It's man, when the Bills are faced with these moments, you look at the Kansas City loss the year before, that was 13 seconds, right? If you go back and look at the AFC Championship game when the Bills lost to the Chiefs, it's the same thing. The Bills spend all this money on key defensive free agents, or when they draft and develop their own and sign, that's their philosophy. But where does it get them? All right, cool. You have a defense, in the regular season that's top 5. Okay. But when it matters most, when are the Bills going to scheme up a game plan that, like what I saw from, Lou Anamoruno from the Bengals, like there is nothing on the Bills from a coaching standpoint where you go, okay, this coach brings this to the table and I'm scared of it. Can you think of anything? Because I can't. What does Sean McDermott bring to the table that you go, oh my gosh, like the Bills are coming? I can't think of nothing. What about Ken Dorsey? What does Ken Dorsey do that has an opponent scared? Outside of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, what is he bringing to the table? I'll wait because I can't find nothing. Leslie Frazier? So I'm not sitting here saying that the Bills are an awful team and they can't win and so forth, but I think, the scrutiny that they're getting this offseason, I think it's fair. And I think as a fan, you don't have to drink the Kool-Aid. You don't have to trust the process is what they're going to tell you. You could be a fan of the team and be skeptical of what they've done. You could be skeptical of the moves that they're doing. We're just talking about coaching right now. Again, this isn't a bad coached football team. But when it matters most, they're not answering the bell. And that's an issue. That's an issue to me. And I'm tired of sitting here, just happy-go-lucky, oh my gosh, we're going to be okay. Hey, man, we might not be okay. Not if it keeps going like this. How long are we going to sit here and be like, damn, we're just not good enough. It's just not good enough. I was in a meeting last week with my CIO at work. And for those of you who don't know, I work in IT. And we've been working with this software, that we've been having issues with for the past year or so. And we got professional services, etc. And before I got on the phone with my CIO, I was on a conference call in a kind of a workshop where we were going through some of the issues that we were having and fixing some stuff and etc. And we had the vendor on the phone with us. And I asked the vendor a question. I said, you've worked with so many of these companies before that are using this software. Where do we rank in terms of our structure and how we have things put together? It was like, I would say that you guys are above average. And so because we're having so much problems with the software and so forth, I'm like, you know what? Like, that's a win. Like, I'll take that as a win. And so I get back to the story. So I get on the call with the Zoom with my boss, and he's like, I told him I was excited about it, and I told him, I said, "Yo, they said that we were above average, as far as our structure and how we kind of operate and so forth." He looks at me, he goes, "And you're okay with that? That you're just above average?" And I was like, "Damn, like, no, I'm not okay with that." He's a former college athlete, so we're both competitive, and I think when we look at this Bills team, when we in the lens of coaching, is it good enough? Is it good enough? And I'm afraid that we definitely have some things to work out, some issues, man, that need to be addressed. That need to be addressed. I don't know if you guys know, but the Eagles fired Andy Reid. They got to a point where they said it wasn't good enough. And I know the Bills, here's the problem with Bills Mafia right now. They'll say stuff like, well, who else are we going to get? Who else are we going to get as a head coach? I mean, Sean McDermott and these guys, they took us out of the, they took us out of the mud when we were, had a drought baby. We didn't make the playoffs for 17 years. Who else are we going to hire? And I don't think we should have a poverty mentality. And I'm not sitting here and saying, that we need to fire Sean McDermott. But I do think when it comes to expectation, I do think the expectations should be raised. I think things like 13 seconds, there's no excuse for. I think things like coming into a divisional playoff game at home against the Bengals and your offense puts up 10 points, that you don't make any adjustments after the first two possessions to play, man coverage or tighter coverage and to stop the Bengals pass game. I think that's a problem. So that's on the defensive side. Offensively, you guys know that I'm a big fan of getting Josh Allen weapons. And that's kind of where we're gonna kind of get into our next topics here. But the Bills need to get Josh Allen weapons. So, it comes down to, outside of Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, what do the Bills really have offensively? They really don't have an answer. I mean, we saw this season inconsistent Gabriel Davis, try to step into that wide receiver 2 role. And, what we learned was, his route tree or his route running ability is extremely limited. He doesn't separate well. And, he doesn't offer you much from in the short intermediate areas of the field. And his hands are questionable. I mean, he has one of the most unorthodox catching points I've seen in a wide receiver. It's like his hands are flipped. It's so weird. But we saw him drop a lot of balls this year. He dropped a lot of balls. And so you don't have a number 2 wide receiver. And you really, even though the Bills ran the ball better this year statistically, I think they still had some issues on the offensive line. Right? Big time issues on offense. Spencer Brown, second year. Where was his development this year? Now, I know he was coming off of back surgery, so his offseason was kind of hampered and limited. But man, even though he came off an injury, you would expect him to play more consistently down the stretch, and I didn't see that. Issues at guard, right? We got issues at guard, left guard to be exact. We went and got a Pro Bowl left guard. What did it get us? He was statistically, or according to PFF, or according to the trained eye, watching the film, he was the worst offensive lineman the Bills had in the starting lineup. He was the worst one. I'm going to see if I can pull up what his PFF grade was on offensive line. But it wasn't good. It was not good. What about Deion Dawkins? Now, I would say Deion Dawkins and Mitch Morse. I would say that they were the better offensive linemen that we've had, right? But I'm telling you, outside of that, you know, it was bleak. It was rough. It was really rough. Mitch Morse, we talk about Mitch Morse here for a minute. Mitch Morse was phenomenal. I mean, seeing this guy get to the second level was amazing. Was amazing. So Roger Saffold, his PFF grade was a 44. That tells you how bad he was. Okay. Now that's his total composite offensive grade. Okay. A 44. He in pass block, he was a 50. And at run blocking, he was a 43. A 43. That ain't gonna cut it, man. He had 1,195 snaps. Okay, so that was the most on the offensive line. So, he even had more snaps than Josh Allen by one. Okay, so I mean, consistency in terms of availability, I'll give him a pass. But outside of that, man, what did he bring to the table? Like going into the season, I thought, okay, at least he's gonna be at least he's gonna be a solid run blocker. At least. Give me that. He ain't do nothing. We got my guy Daryl right here, man. He says Gabe can't run crisp routes and catches sideways. We need better weapons and protection. Should be the goal going into the draft. I agree. And we're gonna get into some options here in a second. But the offensive line needs help. And you know what? I am sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. All right. I'll be okay if the Bills spent a lot of their resources on the offensive side of the ball, right? You go get 2 offensive linemen. Go get a wide receiver or 2. You have nothing there at guard. Right? Okay, Ryan Bates, move Ryan Bates back to left guard. Figure out your right guard and right tackle. I think Spencer Brown needs some competition. He needs some competition because I'm sick and tired of, I know you're going to hear I'm sick and tired, but I am, damn it. I ain't going to cap. Tired of this shit. I'm telling you right now. But go get some competition for Spencer Brown and right tackle, whether that's drafting a rookie, whether that's going to sign a free agent. Y'all, the Bills got to do something, all right? But wide receiver wise, what are the options out there? What are the options? You could go sign Odell Beckham, right? You can. Now, I don't know what it's going to cost for the Bills to sign Odell Beckham, but even if you do sign Odell, you still have to draft a wide receiver. We drafted Khalil Shakir. The man had 10 catches on the season. 10. And limited opportunities. So, I mean, here's my question. At what point do you go, you know what? Isaiah McKenzie over Khalil Shakir. Yep, that's a great idea. Let's roll with it. What? Even if Khalil Shakir had issues learning the offense, etc., I'd rather have Khalil Shakir in the offense or getting those snaps that Isaiah McKenzie got because there's potential there. He is a better route runner right now than Isaiah McKenzie. He offers more. He has better hands. At least from a ball security perspective. Why didn't the Bills start Khalil Shakir? Now, when he got drafted, hey, I was excited. 5th round pick? I was excited. Brandon Beane was like, that's my best selection since Josh Allen. Well, your best selection since Josh Allen got 10 catches. Was it a trust issue with Josh Allen? I don't know. And we won't know. We will not know. But what was it? Same could be said for Kyrie Elam. Let's, it's so good to take a snapshot of draft night to actuality of what happened at the end of the season. End of the season says that the man came on. He played well. Like, we were, fan wise, I know at least I was saying that the Bills should have, they should have been playing Kyrie Elam a long time ago. Why did it take so long? Well, they really like what they had in Christian Benford, and that's fair. Like, Christian Benford was a good pick, right? I'm totally fine with that. But you healthy scratched Kyrie Elam to play Dane Jackson. What? Make that make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, again, we're just fans. I'm just a content creator, right? I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there's something in there that they know that I don't know. I don't know. But Khalil Shakir played well toward the end of the season. And in the playoffs, he was probably more consistent than Tre'Davious White, who's coming off ACL injury. I mean, it's so frustrating, man, when you put all this together. It's frustrating, bro. It's so frustrating, y'all. So, it has me thinking, like, okay, do the Bills, are they afraid to play rookies? I don't know if that can't be it. I mean, when they drafted Tre'Davious White, Tremaine Edmonds, Josh Allen, those guys got some play, like, soon, really quick. James Cook is another. You mean to tell me that? Now, I'll give Devin Singletary, Devin Singletary was better in short yardage, and he's better in pass protection. So maybe that's why James Cook didn't play that much, right? But James Cook was the better running back toward mid and toward the end of the season in the playoffs. He was a better running back. But Devin Singletary still started. I mean, when you look at, like I'm okay with if the Bills, in my opinion, in life, like, I'm okay failing if I know I gave it my all, right? Like, I'll take an L, I'll take it. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it, but I'll take it knowing, like, I gave it everything I had, and this is the outcome, right? But the Bills, man, it's just I don't know, man. It's so much to be left on the table, and it's frustrating. And so we're going into the offseason, and we got all these questions. Like, this is the first offseason where the Bills, I can look at their roster and say, the Bills need help outside of cornerback at every single position. Do the Bills need help at defensive tackle? Yes. Do the Bills need help at defensive end? Yes. Do the Bills need help at linebacker? Well, you're about to lose Tremaine Edmonds, so yes. And don't get me started on Terrell Bernard. I don't know what the plan is for him. Horrible pick. I didn't like it when he made it. I ain't gonna cap. I did not like it. Now I need a drink. I wasn't feeling it when he made the pick. Terrell Bernard. Come on, man. And you might say, well, Sterling, you're just venting a lot. Yeah, I'm venting. All right, this is what we do. But let's go to safety. Yeah, they need a safety. Damar Hamlin, we don't know when he's going to play. You're losing Jordan Poyer, so you need help with safety. Okay, offensive side of the ball. Outside of quarterback, well, you need a backup quarterback. Because, unless you resign Case Keenum. Because Matt Barkley, he ain't playing. At running back, okay. Nyheim Hines. Why did the Bills go get Nyheim Hines if you're not going to use him? Just for special teams. Like, come on, man. But the Bills need help at running back. So you need a a do-it-all or a definite short yardage back, because I don't think they're going to bring back Devin Singletary. And why would you bring back Devin Singletary? Right? At wide receiver, like, can we stop with these like retreads of wide receiver, man? Like, I'm okay with bringing back Cole Beasley. Like, bring back Cole Beasley. That I'll be cool with that. And if you see me looking over here, it's because I'm on Instagram Live. But bring back Cole Beasley and let him play the slot. I mean, I think the Bills are kind of desperate for a slot receiver. Big time. You got to let Isaiah McKenzie go. It's time to peace out, my dude. Peace out, my guy. You got to go. But it's safe to say the Bills need 2 wide receivers. What about tight end number 2? Outside of Dawson Knox. Yeah, bring some competition in. So, I mean, you go through the roster and, offensive line. Yeah, you definitely need to bring in competition at right tackle, and you definitely need to find a starting right guard, because I'm assuming that they don't bring Saffo back. Ryan Bates kicks the left guard. And then what are you going to do at right guard, right? You need at least 2 offensive linemen. Now, you put all that together, that's a hell of a lot. Oh, and by the way, the Bills are over the cap by $20 million, which they could create cap space to make signings and so forth. But and the leader of your defense is leaving, probably, unless you franchise tag him. Or do you really want to commit that much money to a linebacker, to a middle linebacker, when you just gave Matt Milano the bag? I mean, there's so much I can attack in this, or the underutilized, heavy, the dude makes so much money, Dawson Knox, and you don't even use him. I don't know, man. It may sound that I'm being negative, but I really just want to be honest about all this. I want to be honest, man. And I think, the sooner Bills Mafia, or as fans, we're honest, I think that's where you can kind of start to make sense of what's happening, right? Or what to expect. I think that's huge. So weapon for Josh Allen. So what do the Bills do to get Josh Allen some weapons? So we talked about, you could go get, an Odell. What does Odell Beckham bring to the table? I think he brings you route running. He can get open at the short, intermediate, and deep. So he would be a good option for a stopgap number 2. But how much are you going to have to pay him? Right? Don't know. I would much rather roll the dice and draft someone, a Jalen Hyatt in the 2nd round, Zay Flowers in the 1st round, Jackson Smith and Jigba in the 1st round. Like, I would be okay if the Bills leverage some of their capital and or package Ed Oliver in a draft day trade or prior to, if the Bills could trade down. Like, go get somebody. Gotta do it. Our offense is predicated on all Josh Allen all the time, which is fun for us. And if you're a fantasy owner of Josh Allen, kudos to you. But in reality, it is not a formula, a sustainable formula. It's just not. What are some other draft options for the Bills at 27? Now, I'm not going to mention running back yet. So the Bills, Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle, is an option. Jordan Addison at wide receiver. I don't think he makes it to 27. I think Jordan Addison is going to go anywhere from 12 to 16-ish. Quentin Johnson, I think he's wide receiver 1 in this draft. I don't think he makes it out of past 12. Jackson Smith and Jigba is probably, he's going to go in the 20s somewhere, but I think he might be gone by 27. Now, if I think he would be the best option at 27 due to availability. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba's route running is probably the best in this draft. right? I mean, he's not a blazer, but what he does in the short intermediate areas to get open and break off, at the top of a route, I think and his hands are great. And he's a Buckeye. Y'all know I'm a Wolverine fan, but he's a Buckeye. But if Jackson Smith and Jigba is there at 27, you go get him. When you talk about interior offensive lineman, John Michael Smith, that'd be a viable option, right? DeJuan Jones, another Buckeye from Ohio State. You could go grab him. Zay Flowers. Look, man, I'm telling y'all right now, you want to talk about a prospect that's going to rise up draft boards in this draft process is going to be Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is a 5'10" wide receiver, Boston College. Look, man, I'm telling you, he's a the way he plays in space, get you some rack. The Bills, when the last time the Bills had somebody that could really, yards after catch? I think he could do that. I think he's a great fit for this offense. I think he's more competitive at the catch point than your guy Davis. I mean, I'm telling y'all, he's gonna go up draft boards. Keep an eye on Zay Flowers. I do think I think that DeJuan Jones will be a good option at tackle. Like I just mentioned him. They should take a look. They should take a look. There's notion. Josh Downs, yeah, Josh Downs will be great. Rashee Rice and Jalen Reed, yeah, they would be later. I would say 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Xavier Hutchinson, you could throw in there as well. But I would be okay if the Bills did not draft a defensive player in this draft and they went straight offense. I know that's probably unrealistic, but I would be okay with that. And I don't even care what they do in free agency. I would be okay if the Bills just went, let's you know what? Let's do this. Let's go ahead and do this. We're gonna do a mock draft here on the show tonight. All right. And I already had this queued up. All right. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share my screen right now. And we're gonna do this. We are gonna do this. So I'm gonna go. So this is the PFF mock draft simulator. Now, just keep in mind that the players and their draft spots, they're going to change as we get close to the NFL draft in April. But we're going to do the Bills. We're going to do 7 rounds, and we're going to make this quick. All right. We're going to start the draft. All right. And the Bills are picking at 27. And this is what's on the clock. All right. So the best player available on the board right now is Deonte Banks. That's a cornerback from Maryland. Again, we're not taking anything defense. So here's something that's pretty dope. Here's something that's pretty dope. So, but John Robinson is here at 27. And isn't this, look at God work. Look at God work. Well, I tell you what, hey, so here's the debate. Here is the debate. And y'all need to see my face on this. So there is a lot of talk about the Bills should not take a running back in round 1. And I can understand that logic to an extent. But I do think that John Robinson is a top 3 prospect in this draft, regardless of position. So for value's sake, wouldn't you want to have a game-breaking running back that would only make James Cook better just because you have a do-all everything back? You have 2, 3 dynamic receiving options from the backfield that you don't use correctly, but you got 3 of them. So you would at 27, let's say the Bills took Bijan Robinson. Okay. Now, if you haven't watched any highlights of Bijan Robinson, watched any film, or watched a Texas Longhorn game, you probably should do so. And it might change your mind about picking a running back at 27. But Bijan Robinson gives you contact balance, speed, vision, all the things. He's probably the best running back since Saquon Barkley in 2018. So before I say we picked Bijan Robinson in this mock draft, let's take a look at running backs taken in the first round since 2015. Okay, so we'll start with 2015. Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon. 2016, Ezekiel Elliott. And in the second round, Chubb was taken, okay, in the second round. 2017, Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey. 2018, Saquon Barkley, Rashad Penny at 27, Sony Michel. 2019, Josh Jacobs. 2020, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. 2021, Travis Etienne and Najee Harris. That's 2. 2022, none. Right? So how many first-round running backs or do I have a grade on? I only have Bijan Robinson. Jahmyr Gibbs is a early second round draft pick to me. Okay? But Bijan is dope. Bijan Robinson's dope. So for the sake of this mock draft here, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and take Bijan Robinson. Let's do it. Okay, we're taking the plunge. All right, so Bills Mafia, you got yourself a running back. You got Josh Allen a weapon, regardless of position. You got him a weapon. Now, here we go. So, round 2, pick 59, okay? Pick 59. You could take Andre Carter, who is a long defensive end from Army. Okay, I think he's like 6'7". So you essentially be getting Gregory Rousseau number 2. That's an option. Okay. Tank Dell at 37, which he's another guy that's going to rise up draft boards. Or Josh Downs. So those are your receiving options. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So those are your receiving options. Okay. You could take Rashee Rice, but he's at 81. I think he could be there in the third round. Now, let's look at interior offensive line. You got Luke Weipler, center from Ohio State. Joe Tippmann is a very intriguing prospect. I like Joe Tippmann. All right, so and Parker Washington. If y'all don't know who Parker Washington is, y'all might want to go check him out. He's pretty dope, wide receiver from Penn State. So, for the sake of the draft today, I think I'd rather have Josh Downs than Tank Dell. So, you know what? See, this is the hard part because I know the Bills need help at interior offensive linemen. The Bills need help at tackle, right? They need help at tackle. We're gonna roll the dice. Okay, we're gonna go wide receiver here. So let's just say the Bills take Joshua Downs, wide receiver, North Carolina, in the second round. And here we go in the third round pick. Now I'm not doing any trades yet. We'll do those later. Okay. Now, so if you look, Tank Dell is still on the board. How crazy is that? Tank Dell is still on the board. This is tough because I like Christopher Smith as a safety. Travius Hodges-Tomlinson is a little small for me at cornerback. Sidney Brown will be a great pick. Sidney Brown from Illinois would be a great pick. But what do you do here? What do you do here? I'm perplexed. I don't know what to do here. But let's just say we go the Bills need help at safety. So let's just say we go Sidney Brown, safety, Illinois. All right. That fills a need. And I think the player that you get there is phenomenal. I think Sidney Brown would fit this defense. So, in the 4th round, now, we got our running back, we got our wide receiver. Okay. Let's go. Let's look at offensive line help here, because I think this draft is offensive line heavy, right? You could find a guy in the 4th round. You can find a guy in the 4th round, and it's just not there. Like, the value doesn't match the need, right? So, you know what? This is tough. This is tough. I think the Bills need help at interior defensive line, so we're gonna take another Longhorn, Moro Ajomo, defensive tackle. You can play that 3 tech. All right, here we go. Bills in the 5th round, pick 139. Who we gonna get? Again, the offensive linemen are gone. Woo, tough. And I'm not just gonna reach. You know, that's when you get in trouble, when you reach. Deuce Vaughn, Trey Dean, Stetson Bennett. Hey, man, I would not draft Stetson Bennett. My freaking life depended on it. You know, let's go quarterback here. When in doubt, go cornerback, man. You go get Jacorian Bennett. Let's just say that Christian Benford moves to safety. You're going to need a cornerback. So I think Jacorian Bennett could play in this nickel cover 2. I think he could do that. So the Bills get a cornerback in the 5th round. And we haven't taken an offensive lineman. All right. So the offensive linemen, the good ones are gone. But now this is where we might reach a little bit. Okay. We definitely need a guard. We need a tackle. Let's go. Let's see, offensive tackle. Trevor Reed. You get some upside. Let's see interior. Caleb Murphy, TJ Bass. This is tough. This is tough. But for the sake of for this mock draft, we're gonna have many. All right. Let's go Trevor Reed tackle. Okay. I think he's a guy that he's a little inconsistent, but I think, you know, pass blocking is, I think he can give you some upside. He's 6'5", 307, slender. He's a decent athlete. He's not Spencer Brown in terms of athleticism, but I think he's a little bit more technically refined than Spencer Brown. Now, I think he can give him competition there. So that's why we took him there. Okay, so, and that's it. With no trade downs. Okay, so we get an A- from PFF. Look at us go, y'all. Look at us go. Sidney Brown was our best pick. All right. Hey, that's not a bad mock draft, y'all. I'm just saying. That ain't bad at all. That is not bad. So, Zachary says, go John Michael Smith, future center of this team. So, yeah, you know what? In all actuality, I could have just double dipped at wide receiver. We could have just double dipped there. And I think as we continue on, we're going to do mock drafts every week we do the show, because things change. Free agency takes place. I think free agency is March 15th or March 13th. So we're going to be doing mock drafts. This is what I like to do on my show, because, you know, I like talking NFL draft. But, hey, that actually is the first PFF draft where I've gotten higher than a B+. We got an A- on that. That's a pretty solid draft. Like Sidney Brown, we got Sidney Brown in the 3rd, Josh Downs in the 2nd, and Bijan Robinson. I mean, so you look at that. You get 2 playmakers, two playmakers. That will be a big addition to help Josh Allen. Okay, but John Robinson, I know everybody hates it. Why would you take a running back in round one? He's the top 3 player in this draft. Why not take him? You could actually hand him the ball off and not worry about it because he's going to make plays. Josh Downs is going to give it to you down the field. He can short intermediate. I think he has a route running ability to help out there. Sidney Brown is a thumper. I think he's great in coverage. Moro Ojomo, I think he can play 3 tech. He can spell out Oliver. See what they do with him. Jacorian Bennett, I think it's a solid corner for a guy that you're going to pick in the 5th round. All right, and Trevor Reed, a tackle, a little bit of a project there, but I think that's something that they could work with if they're going to go that route. So it doesn't hurt to take offensive talent. That's my whole point. Like the Bills continually just go defense. Like it gets on my nerves. Don't be the Packers. Give that man some weapons. Give Josh Allen some weapons. Let's talk about, we got about 10 minutes left on the show. There was something that I wanted to chat with you guys about before we took off. We're going to look at this here. I wanted to talk about this. So we got Von Miller, our beloved Von Miller, hanging out with Derrick Henry. Okay. Von Miller, since he's been a Buffalo Bill, has definitely recruited. He was after Odell Beckham. I mean, Von is connecting in the league, and a lot of players respect him. So recently, Von Miller and Derrick Henry working out together. Von's coming off an injury. Derrick Henry is just he's a beast. Even, people say that he's on the downslope, but he had a great year last year for the Tennessee Titans. And they're working out. And Von Miller makes a post on Instagram that says @last_king_2, which is Derrick Henry, and he has eyes and he has a buffalo under it. Okay. So I think it's believed that if you were to go get Derrick Henry, if you trade for him, I don't know what the compensation would be, maybe a 4th and a 5th, a 4th, 5th, and a 5th of next year. I mean, you're not giving up a ton, right? Would you take Derrick Henry for the next 2 years as a stopgap? Would you? I would, as a stopgap running back. For 2 years? Absolutely. I make the trade today. And I know people say, well, why would you? You're going to have people, all these GMs are going to tell you, why you don't do it? I'd do it in a heartbeat. He's a bona fide dude. Derrick Henry is a bona fide dude, man. This thing, you would have Derrick Henry and Josh Allen running over people in your offense. Now, if you don't get Bijan Robinson, right? If Bijan Robinson falls to you at 27, which I don't think he will, but if he does, you take him. You just take him. Now, of those running backs that I mentioned, how many of those guys are going to get second contracts with their team? So there is some pros and cons to drafting a running back at 27. Like the Bills draft Bijan Robinson, you're going to use him for 4 years, 5 years, and then you're going to let him go. I mean, that's pretty much the shelf life of running back. Now, if he's just amazing, like one of the top 5 players in the league, etc., then I think you justify paying him the money. You justify paying him the money. But if he ain't that, which I do think he will, but man, how much is that going to cost? How much is that going to cost? I don't know. But back to Derrick Henry, I'd do it, man. I'd make that trade. I would make that trade today. I ain't going to lie. But there you have it. I mean, so tonight we talked about Derrick Henry and, what's his fit on the Bills. I think he'd be a great addition. Vaughn, keep recruiting your ass off, man. We need it. Bring all the good players to Buffalo. All right. The capologist, Brandon Beane, front office, make it happen, Captain. But you got to draft well. Because if you draft well, you really don't need free agency like that. You know, if you're drafting guys that can come in and play, that are starters, which is hard to do, but the consistency in which they draft has to be better. This is one of the most important drafts, I believe, in recent history, recent memory, since Josh Allen was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. The Bills have to hit on draft picks. That's what they have to do this season. They don't even have. They might even have to do some trade backs to get more capital, or I don't know how they want to do it, but some more picks would be nice. I mean, this isn't. You know, this isn't one of those years where, you know, there's so many top end talent. I think there's a lot of good depth in this draft. You know, my boy Spence in our group chat says he wants Vaughn to be GM. Hell yeah, I do. Go get them all, dog. Go get them all. But wrapping up here, just make sure you guys know that you are listening and watching the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network. This is Intentional Groundings. I'll be here every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're going to be talking NFL draft. I'm going to keep you locked and loaded on what the Bills plan on doing. You know, with free agency that's coming up. We're going to be talking about all that. You know, we got NFL Combine this week, so I'll be watching that very closely. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and reactions to all that as the week goes on. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Go to my Twitter, Instagram at Furrowh Sterling. You can find me on there. I will be posting content for you to consume. But outside of that, man, y'all have a blessed week. And I'm out of here. Deuces.